The half-life of a substance describes how long it takes for the substance to deplete by half. The half-life of caffeine in the body of a healthy adult is approximately 5 hours, meaning that it takes 5 hours before the body can break down half the caffeine. That is really good to know since I drink so much coffee. Suppose an energy drink contains 160 milligrams of caffeine. The amount of caffeine Y left in your system after X hours is modeled by the function Y equals 160 times 1/2 to the X divided by 5 power. Identify the key features of the function, graph it, and then identify the relevant domain and range in the context of the situation. Okay. So in our equation here, A is greater than 0, B is between 0 and 1, right? X divided by 5 is between 0 and 1. So this is an exponential decay function. The domain is all real numbers, and the range is y greater than 0. So when we plug in 0 for our x, 0 divided by 5 is 0. So again, we have something being taken to the 0 power, which is just 1. So y equals 160. So our intercept is 160. Again, that makes sense for the situation because that is what we are starting with. That's our starting point. Because y equals 160 times 1/2 to the x over 5 power is an exponential decay function. As x increases, y approaches 0. So as our x's get bigger, our y's get closer and closer to 0. And as our x's get smaller, the y's get bigger and bigger. They increase. So in our graph, it looks something like this. We start up high and we drop down, getting closer and closer to 0. It will never actually reach 0, but it will get closer and closer to it. So we start with, at 0, we start at 160. Our negative, so we can see how the graph acts, is 184. And we go down. We have 139, 121, 106, 92, 80, etc. The relevant domain, we're not going to talk about negative time. We're going to talk about before you drink your energy drink. So we're only looking at x's greater than or equal to 0. The amount of caffeine will not be negative, and the amount of caffeine when x is 0 is 160. So our relevant domain is everything between 0 and 160. So going back up to our graph here, we're only looking from 0 to 160. We don't care about what's happening above that. We don't care about what's happening below that. And we're only looking at our x's that are positive numbers because, again, we're not looking at what happened before you drink your drink.